in life is like building a house. The better you architect and plan every subtle detail, the better the house will be. So it's just like a script. The more you work on the script, the better the movie will be. So for life, you have to architect and make a blueprint for what you want it to look like after you build it. When we bought the ranch for the purpose of flipping it or turning it into a hotel, really we bought it because Kanye had a ranch up the block. If I'm not compelled or inspired by the business, I won't do it. I'm a true artist in that way. If I'm not having fun, if I'm not, you see, I'm looking at real estate every day for fun. The next one was Dame Dash Studios, which was subscription based. But what we've learned is subscription does not work.
I wanted to get to that.
It doesn't work for anybody. It doesn't work for Disney. It doesn't work for anybody. I just look at real estate all day.
Okay, class, it's Kris Haskins with therealestateroundup.com. My mission and ministry is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. Today, I'm hanging out with Dame Dash, and he is going to give you some information to help you with your finances.
No. I'm not the guy to help you with finances.
Let me say, okay, help me.
I just like that. I'm the guy that can help you with your dreams.
He is going to help us with our dreams, entrepreneurial.
If finances is love, if you look at is money, is your currency love? Before we start this interview, I want to know, is your currency love, or is your currency man-made money backed by no gold at all?
Love, man.
So I can tell you how to be financially literate in love for sure.
That's what I want.
How to love your life, be fearless, identify your dream, make a roadmap and a blueprint on how to get there. That I could do because it worked for me, but it definitely comes with some scars on your knuckles.
Yeah, I can't wait. Let's get into it. So much stuff. Thank you for coming, Dame.
Hey, yo.
My kitchen. You were saying something about my kitchen. What? Go ahead.
Oh. Okay.
What do you think about my kitchen, though? I just built it to sell time in the kitchen.
Well, I was saying that whatever I do, I usually deal in every vertical. So for example, when I make an album, we make a cookbook based on the food we were eating while we were making the album. And then we've come across a chef, a vegan chef, that is a really talented rapper named Star. So we have a band, and she cooks for the band, and then she interviews them, and then she jumps on the stage and raps. And then she comes to my house and cooks in the morning, and then she does this thing it's her version of a cooking show. And then when we perform, it's like dinner and a show. So we sell plates and tickets, and the music. I like to sell. Yeah, I like to sell the smell. Every vertical.
Sell the smell.
Everything. I like to sell every sense.
Okay.
That's why if you look at it, I make my sneakers, I make my clothes.
I like the ones you had yesterday. It was crazy.
I make my socks, I make my glasses, I make my jewelry, everything. I make everything, So, and only because I could, you know what I mean? So there's definitely a real estate vertical. I've been doing a lot of research because of these new houses, and I wanted to ask somebody. Well, yeah, these Apple houses for $10,000.
They're coming, Dame.
Yeah,
they're coming.
And just like for $10,000, because we have this studio and it has like 9 acres, and I'm like, when people come in, I have to get them hotel rooms, and I'm like, for $10,000, I could just put 5 of them shits.
Wow. And
have all of a sudden have.
You got your own resort there.
A creative resort, and it still be luxury and
wow,
forward thinking. And then also there's people in my family that I'm like, at some point you'd have to be like, you're just stubborn, and let me just buy some land and put houses on it and just put them there. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
No doubt.
So I've been looking at also these profab houses, the ones that are like people move them around.
Yeah.
I've been looking at those pole trailers. They cost like $90,000.
Very affordable.
Well, also where I've been living, I didn't know so many people lived in like trailers that are turned into houses. But when you look at the prices, if I didn't have a certain amount of bread, I definitely would do that just until I had a certain amount of bread. But also at a price of $10,000, there's no excusing not having a house.
No doubt.
It makes no sense.
Well, it's the land, perhaps.
The land, bro.
In the mindset.
It's, bro. For $10,000, none of my children will ever have to be bothering me. I'm gonna give you a house for your birthday. It's 10 grand.
No doubt.
And if I have a backyard big enough to put the house in, then I also have the land. So that's the reason why, like, I've been looking at land like 10 acres, 20. Like, I have a ranch in Wyoming, my wife and I, the Dash Ranch, and it has 25 acres on it. And I could do whatever the fuck I want to do. It's just very hilly. But, you know, I don't know. I might do that. Like, it's really been...
It's open.
It's eye-opening, the things you can do.
Now.
If you don't... Like we have another spot next in Hilton Head, and it's a house that we bought, but the house is, like, kind of messed up. So Rocky's father, because she builds houses, and he was going through it. He's like, this is rotten, but knock that shit down. And I'm looking at it like, well, why wouldn't I just put a prefab house or...
You should.
Or just to try it out.
You can't lose, brother. It's
Just
not
gotta
like
try
this.
it.
It's not like you do
For that money, you can't lose.
Yeah, you're right. Well,
So what I wanted to know is how will that affect the real estate market if that really in fact becomes a thing? The what are those? The store. What's those? The crate houses.
the tiny houses.
They're tiny, but you know, putting them shipping containers, the container
containers coming
houses,
too.
and stacking
I've seen that.
them and all of that. I'm looking at things where you press a button and the house just pops up.
Yep. 3D houses too.
Of course.
It's coming. It's coming.
The world is, this is like the world of the Jetsons, just like, and are people, so again, how is that going to affect the real estate market? That was my question, and I'm glad that you do real estate.
Dave's asking me a question. It's a little surreal. Well, okay, my mentor, he tells me there's always going to be a market for luxury, as you know. But the affordable housing thing is, that is once again always going to be a market. You cannot lose doing that. But the game we play in is affordable housing that feels luxury.
Right.
Right. So that's the game that I'm in.
But that's the game that we all are in. Well, that just comes with good taste. That's all. Because I find, again, that's the reason why I tend to do things myself. For the price I pay for someone else to design something and they put their name on it, it's not as good as when I
hear
just
you
go
talk
ahead
about that a lot.
and do it myself. And like even in filmmaking, I see people spend so much money because they make certain things line items just to skimp. So you create jobs and you create middlemen and just like a contractor, right? So in the real estate game, for me, what I know is...
You want your drink?
Do I want something to drink?
You have your drink.
Oh,
over
no,
here.
I'm good.
Okay.
What I learned was you got to be the contractor, you know, and that's just the person that outsources and hires everybody and blah, blah, blah.
General.
Right. So if you can cut out middlemen and you know, like if I can pick the fabric and if I can pick the stuff and if I personally go do it, it doesn't have to cost so much. So, yeah, I think the way to make things affordable and luxury is just to cut out every fucking middleman and just really understand sourcing, right? Like before I have somebody build a house, I had to kind of figure out, okay,
Did you have your
frame the
house built
house.
too?
Pardon?
Did you have a house built too?
I've had houses done over because what I would do is, like when I was younger, I would buy a house before it was done. Like when it's at the, you know, the shell of it, and then I could deal with putting and being particular about the details.
Inside.
Because that's really where the money comes from,
is.
right?
Yeah.
And then also understanding if you put a certain amount of money into the house, if other houses around aren't selling for a certain amount,
You throwing money
it doesn't
away.
fucking matter. You'd be like, but I put all this, it doesn't matter, it doesn't comp. And now you can't get a loan. So you can't sell it.
Can't sell it.
Right? And I learned that from people trying to sell me houses like I'm a moron thinking I'm coming with straight cash. And I'm like, bruh, I can't even get a loan. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to be a consumer of real estate, you should learn it so you don't get robbed. And then once you learn it, you're like, fuck it, I could do it myself.
Y'all hearing this?
You understand what I'm saying? So that's how I approach it. And that's one of my verticals for everything that I do is like, you know, I have this network, Americanu.
Let's talk about
and now
that.
I'm doing the new hotels where, you know, everything that you see on the network is available to you at the hotel, including the people that are on the network. So now
Sweet.
you have a place to actually spend time with those. So if you got, because I'm on a boutique, I'm building the first one in Detroit. What I'm trying to do is I'm taking schools and I'm turning them into hotels because they have everything I need in a school, like a classroom, an auditorium, they have outdoor space, they have gyms, they have everything that I would need while I'm teaching. And, you know, because I also want education to be done a different way, you know. And there's a television network attached to it. It's, you know, it's very luxury. It's a private club. You got to be smart, you know, blah, blah, blah. And also in the daytime, children can go.
Good.
You know, but really, I just don't think people should be teaching anything unless they've actually been successful at what they're teaching. So all the teachers that I would bring wouldn't be people that didn't have success. It would be people that did, you know. And then, because I don't understand the people that teach that failed and that they know it. But how are you going to teach someone how to do it and you never made no money doing it?
I hear you talk about that a lot. I struggle
It shit
with my
bugs me
daughters.
out. It's just like it's almost, it's just like
It's
the Twilight
backwards.
Zone. Yeah.
It is the Twilight Zone.
So yeah, so again, right now real estate, like I'm talking about, you could ask Nicolette, before I came over here, someone where I was, my man Jay lives in Florida, and he was showing me a trailer, a $90,000 trailer. I just like I look at real estate all day.
Word.
Well,
I didn't
it's
know that.
part of-
Your content doesn't really get into that.
Well, you're right.
I'm like,
and
I'm
the
a
reason,
real estate
you know
guy.
why? It will. Well, what I've done is I take the whole. Because what we started to do was we bought the ranch for the purpose of flipping it or turning it into a hotel. Really, we bought it because Kanye had a ranch up the block, and he just started knocking down all the buildings, and he wanted us to like stay in fucking trailers that were not that luxury. And
Word?
yeah, it's like, you know, he was trying to do that white billionaire shit where you want to live broke, and I'm like, nigga, I don't like that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, and I couldn't bring girls on the ranch. So I was like, I'm getting my own ranch. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and he's a funny cat because as soon as I got the ranch, he fucking left.
Oh,
Sold
wow.
everything on the ranch, and I would be like, yo, send some of them fucking toys over. And he wouldn't. He'd be like, no, like, yo, you can't, you're not over there. Like, send
Wow,
me a
just
fucking
sitting.
4-wheeler or two. He's like, he just doesn't like to share his toys. He'll give shit, but if you ask to hold his toys, he'd be like, nah, pause. You
I
know
want
what
to
I'm
state that. I had a question, Dame, about the work ethic. That was on here. I've heard you mention, I want to talk about your work ethic, but I've heard you mention Kanye's work ethic.
He's insane.
Let me just say, I used to work
He
without.
doesn't stop, bro. He doesn't stop till, you know, he's obsessed with work.
Well, to help my new aspiring entrepreneurs, when I was working with Teddy in the studio.
Teddy
and-
Riley?
Yeah, and Minivision, you know, the old days with tape, rewinding, fast forward, rewinding.
And that was way back.
I'm taking you back, right? I've been in the music business before I got into real estate. I went broke after I spent all my money from my publishing deal, right? Shout out to Jay Praise. But I want to ask you, sitting at that table, at the mixing console, rewinding, fast forwarding, rolling with these dudes, I'll never forget the first time I fell asleep, Dame.
Oh, you can't do that.
I didn't have my muscle up, right? You've been there, right?
Oh, no.
I'm telling you,
I'm
you've been
not
there
the guy
working.
that falls asleep. I'm the
I
guy
know.
that tortures you if you fall asleep. You're not allowed. If you watch International Grizzly, you'll see me. What I used to do was get everybody's keys to their room. So if they tried to leave and go to sleep, I could just break in. Brian, what you doing? You sleep?
So you want 'em awake.
you're not allowed to go to sleep. We have sleep deprivation exercises. Like I keep
Oh,
you up
wow.
for 3 straight days, and if you fall asleep, you body. That's what it's called. You body. You're not allowed to sleep on. You can't sleep.
Well, talk to the entrepreneurs because I didn't know. I was in the business and I'm like, I was killing myself staying up for days.
And you have to train
mixing
for that. Being a rock star is a different.
in general.
Yeah, because not only do you have to not sleep, you also have to be on time. You have to get up when you're like dead. You're like out of dead, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's say you catch that nap, you still got to be able to get up. You have to be able to pack your shit up and be out, unpack your shit up in like days at a time. It's just a certain conditioning, but the reason why you do it is because you love it so much. When you love what you do, and why would you want to sleep and you living in your dream? So you're supposed to be fueled. Your dreams fuel you, and when you live in them, it makes you stronger. Or it makes you do things that you wouldn't, like, you have to understand your competition. There's so much and so many people trying to get at you. That's why if you ask her, when you get into like Blue Rock Boot Camp, which is the music, you're not allowed to be tired. I do make sure people get sleep, but you just have to make sure you're not wasting time. Be like, yo, like yesterday, the reason why Alexis isn't here is because she's sick.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she don't feel well. So yesterday was late, and I'm like, yo, go get some sleep. Like, literally, she was like, I want to hang out. No. You go to bed. Yesterday, in between breaks, I was like, I'm going to take a nap.
Wow.
Because when I know I have work to do, I know when to rest. So you just have to be strategic.
So you're not just only sleeping at nighttime, you're sleeping during the day. If
I can get some, if I have to be on the road and yeah, I'm exhausted, or I got to go from like, because what it is you don't have so much recovery time. So if you're doing a gig and you stay up till 4 a.m. and you got a flight at 6 a.m. to go to the next place, and then as soon as you land, you got to go do an interview, and then you don't have that recovery time. So you have to know when, like, all right, I need to at least sleep, because what will happen is you'll get sick. So if you get sick, then you messing up money, because number one, especially in these days, it's selfish to go outside sick because you get other people sick, and that shit could kill people now. You know what I mean? So you can't go back out or work while you're sick. So rest is important, but it's just when it's time. It's almost like when you get into the ring and you fighting, that's the time that you cannot rest. You gotta fight. You gotta push yourself, and then you rest when the fight's over. Good. But then you go to training camp to get right before you get in that ring. So it's unconscious. It's not like something written. It's just something that you know and becomes part of your lifestyle. But sometimes you'll see an artist say, yo, I quit the tour, I need some rest. That should be real. Like, I know it when that happens. Like, it's when you get, like, also when you get too tired, you get daffy, you get stupid. Yeah. You start making poor decisions. So you got to be able to be cognizant when you're tired as well.
Well, the reason I asked you that, because so many people, I do coaching and training for real estate investors, and they want to get into the business because they want to be their own boss, Dame. I want to wake up when I want, go here when I want, and I'm just like...
Being your boss means doing things when you don't want to do it. You understand what I'm saying? So that's a boss's job, is like, let's say someone's job is to clean up shit, right? That's like if the dog shits on the floor, that's their job. Mm-hmm. Just because they didn't do their job doesn't mean you're gonna just sit there and let doo-doo be in your house. You're gonna clean that shit up, right?
Yeah.
I'm paying them. I'm not cleaning that up. I'm gonna just smell that for the next 12 hours. No, you're gonna clean that. And that's what a boss does. They clean up all the shit that no one does, that people actually get paid to do.
Wow.
And then when it's time to get paid, they be like, where's my money? I'd be like, yo, you're still shit on the floor. Just because time has elapsed doesn't mean that I should be paying you and I just did your job. Now we got a lawsuit. You understand what I'm saying? That's what being a boss is.
We got them all.
But how many people, these are dope.
Those are the joints for the phone.
Oh, that's why he wanted to flex. He was like, let me get the money.
Nah.
So
being a boss.
Most people haven't been bosses. It's like not like, you know how people be like, or maybe you don't, but like the younger generation gets in the street, starts doing a bunch of crazy shit, thinking they could do the time. They think they could go to jail and do the time till they get there. Once they get there, they were like, had I known that jail is like this, I would have never committed a crime.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with business. You don't know what being a boss is and how painful it is or how much work it is until you have actually been a boss. Another example.
I got so many questions. Go ahead.
You've built a house.
Many of them.
The first time you built the house, you could have never imagined
Oh
it
my
would
God.
be so late and it would be so much over budget. You could never know the pain of building a house until you build one.
But I keep people around me that do, though.
Now you do. The first time you did,
I did not.
I'm said the first time. That's what you know. You be like, oh, you know what? The next time, I'm gonna make sure because I'll save money that way. But you don't know certain things till you do it. You feel what I'm saying? And that was my point. So for your future bosses, you have to say, let me tell you
Tell them
something.
right there.
Let me tell you something. unless you like can take pain, pause, don't do it. You feel what I'm? It's not for everybody, and that's real. Or work your way into it. Don't bet the bank first because you're gonna fuck it up. You know, get a little house first. That's what I was saying. Like, start with baby steps. In the street, you don't give someone a whole key. You give them a pack first to see if they can at least bring back 100 bottles. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead. I'm sorry. You can ask.
You're good, man. I got so many questions. I didn't even get a chance to introduce you, but I guess we would try that at the end, maybe. Dame, when I told my followers I was interviewing you, I immediately got tons of people saying, watch out, Dame's broke. Watch out for the advice he's going to give you. Be careful. And in my mind, I'm like, this is one of the dudes that I follow.
No. This is the question you ask. Whoever asked that question, ask them if they're broke. See, the people that judge what I say and think that I'm broke have never been bosses. Of course, now this is another thing. A lot of time people use banks' money to buy houses, right? And then they get to pay it back, just to put in that language. It's the same thing in the business. People usually use banks' money or funds to go buy a business or start a business, and they pay it back little by little. I go cash and carry.
That's what I want to talk about, yeah.
So of course I'm going to be broke if I have to keep buying houses every time I make it. And also in real estate, when you sell a house, you got to put it right back into another house, or it's just a whole lot of taxes you got to pay. But there's this new law, or there's a law that, and I'll show you, that if you use the profits from selling your house in media, it's completely tax write-off.
In media?
Yeah. In film.
What's that called, dude?
I'll show you on my phone. But my point is, I flip every dollar. And think about this. You see these glasses?
Yes.
Indie. These Indie. Network, a full network. Indie. Now imagine buying, if every single business I had was a house, and I had to buy all these different houses cash, and I'm trying to flip them. Yeah. Build them up or build them over or refurbish them. Yeah. And I'm using all my own money. Would I be broke? Meaning, in bank-wise, all my money's into my bricks.
Assets.
But I don't have no cash to give you, so I'm definitely, never gonna be liquid. So yeah, you could call that broke if you're not a boss.
Gotcha.
But because every house, look at all the houses I have on the street, every movie that I've made, the television networks, all of those are considered real estate. You understand? But it's in the street. And also, when you start a business, it doesn't just make money overnight. So I finally dealt like the first equivalent of the first time I built a house in this vertical of television network was creative control. And at the time, the business hadn't realized itself. They weren't even running ads for YouTube yet. So I was almost was like giving away work. Boom. That didn't work out. But it's still a fast channel now, and I got a lot of content that I can. The next one was Dame Dash Studios, which was subscription-based. But what we've learned is subscription does not work.
I wanted to get to that.
It doesn't work for anybody. It doesn't work for Disney. It doesn't work for anybody.
Tell Mom she can come back too, man. She's probably nervous to come in the house. Tell her to come in and see the guy.
So what I had to do was figure out how to make it free. So now I'm doing the research, and I'm like, shit, if I have a middleman, CPMs, you don't get any money.
We'll get to that too.
It's ridiculous.
Rewind though, Dame, about why won't paid subscriptions work? Because
it's just too many apps, and it's too many things to pay for, and the economy just doesn't. It's the difference between free TV and cable. Free TV is always bigger, and cable is not.
Gotcha.
You know
cable, you talking about like HBOs?
Yeah, because you have to pay a subscription. Mm-hmm. So there's so many things available for free now, and you can look at everything on YouTube and short interviews and, just the way the world is going.
Got it.
Having all these different apps and people subscribing, it doesn't work.
Eventually.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work for Netflix. It doesn't work. Now, what I saw working was Tubi, and Tubi's free. So I'm like, I got to make it free. So in doing the research, I realized that I had to have the ad tech. I had to be able to talk the talk of waterfall and ad tags and CPMs and
can't wait to
data
talk about that with you.
and all of that stuff. But in learning that, I'm learning how much we as content creators are getting robbed. Now, you're an intelligent guy, right?
A little bit.
Well, you've done a good business, and a lot of your business now is on YouTube, correct? Now, you've been watching, so you know what my question is going to be. Do you know your CPMs?
That's where I was going, Dame. I got my
No,
notes
but my
here.
question is, do you know your CPMs?
Oh boy, my call.
If it's a no, it's a no. If it's a yes, it's a yes.
I know my CPM, but I'm one of the few that do.
What is it?
$40.
You have a $40 CPM
I'm blessed.
through YouTube?
Yes.
$40.
$40. I can show you on the phone.
I would like to see that.
Yeah.
And no, you're sorry now. But
Well, don't forget what I'm in though. I'm in the finance sector.
right, no,
My
we have different
viewers.
things, but 40
Yeah.
is really. a
I'm
high
one of the
number.
top. No, I'm not saying that I'm better or worse, but just the only reason it's 40 is because I'm in the real estate
So but
finance
this is
world.
what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have my man check your shit out.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't.
No,
even
I
like-
am, I
You
am.
think I'm a lot of you, dog? Come on, you
I
the
check.
man.
Let me just tell you, I check everybody's shit out. So I
I've seen
check.
that.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm not gonna say their names, but every single person that's doing it on YouTube, I be wanting to know. I could actually, we have the because again, I got
got the
ad,
software.
I got the tech now, so now I could really see what everyone makes from
Okay.
YouTube.
Yeah.
And I can see their CPM. So I'm curious to know that because I want to know because in the CPM business. And I'm not as eloquent as like let's say Prophecy Radiant Technology who does all of this.
Cost per milli.
It's cost per million, but it really means cost per thousand. It's a bunch of
Thousand.
bullshit.
Well, let my
But
viewers know so they
my
know.
point is the way it goes is when you're setting your floor for how much you want for a CPM, it's based on how many impressions you're getting as well.
It boils
and then
down.
there's like then there's a bid for it rapidly per millisecond, and then that's so I'm learning that part of the game. So when you're saying 40, I want to know why. So if that's the case, I know how to set the floor for my YouTube,
Yeah,
which is my network. You understand what I mean?
That's where I
so
wanna be.
And then I'm also
wanna be on
understanding,
yours.
like we recently tried to acquire Revolt, right? And they turned down a $210 million bid and whatever. I don't know why. As a group, my man Keenan and myself, and whatever. But what I was learning is how branded ads make so much money currently as well.
Branded ads.
Branded ads. So it's when you put the brand in the ad, and
Oh,
you
I
put
got
the
you.
brand in your branded content. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Branded content. You know how that makes so much money as well. And again, if you don't have a proper sales situation, see what I'm doing is programmatic, and that's based on the ad tech. But then there's also branded commercials, or rather branded programming, and there's just so many different ways, and just how much by law people or advertisers have to spend with black television networks.
You talked about that.
All of that. So I'm learning these things now. I wish that I could just hire someone that just knew everything and would tell me everything.
It's changing all the time.
But it changes so much right
months.
now that someone that was really savvy last year may be totally stupid this year. So once I get it though, I'm
got a
gonna be
foundation,
fucking
though.
rich.
You got a foundation.
Like no, once I get it, it's over. And I'm almost there. Again, I have the apparatus, I have the tech. All I need is really compelling content, which I have, but it's gonna get better. And, I have enough equity, which is 100% mine and my family's, that if I want to raise for growth, I don't mind diluting a little. You understand what I mean?
Got
But
it.
sometimes people start with an idea, they gotta give up a lot when they get that loan. they end up with about 20%. You feel what I'm saying?
I wanted to ask you, Dane, everybody in my business is preaching other people's money.
Yeah, no.
You're the only guy I've watched. You're the only guy that says, I'll put my money on the street. Can you just talk about that?
The freedom that comes with it. Because what I know, again, based on kicking it with my guy Keenan, is when you're raising money, you have to go through at least 70 meetings to get 3 yeses. So that means someone has to tell you no like 66 times. And my ego can't take one time for something that I've created. I'm really attached to the things that I'm raising money for because it comes from my heart, my soul, my point of view. And just because you got money, my ego is you can't tell me whether my shit is hot or not. Like I can't do it.
Another culture.
I just can't make myself do it. And being from the street and real estate, flipping to me is all I know. Flipping is what keeps me free. And not having someone that I don't like tell me what to do is priceless for me.
Got it. Okay. So it's a personal thing.
I believe I'm superhuman. I really, what I think people could do is collectively, like what I watch other cultures do, is their families come together and always put up money to support a collective of
said
family.
That before, yeah.
And we just don't do that. But I believe if I really wanted to, I believe I could get with people that are doing well in my culture and put a fund together and blah, blah, blah. And I think they would be supportive of it. It's just, I don't know. It's like, even with this auction, right? I got to go through an auction. I got to market an auction. I got to do all this shit to sell this fucking piece of Roc-A-Fella. And I went through so much to be able to do it. It's not what I love doing. It's not my business. But I'm, for that money, I got to do it. But and sometimes I'm like, man, I just want to fucking, because I just, you know what I'm saying? It's just, if I'm not compelled or inspired by the business, I won't do it. I'm a true artist in that way. If I'm not having fun, if I'm not, you see, I'm looking at real estate every day for fun.
Look at that.
So that means I can
Why don't you ever talk about this stuff?
Huh?
Well, I don't know if you do.
I do talk about people
content.
You know how much shit I got to talk about in the interview? I got to talk so much, bro. I have so much shit to promote, but I'm also trying to teach. So I do talk about the fact that no matter what, I put what I want to buy on a vision board, including houses, every year.
Okay.
So by the time I have the money, I'm already savvy about what I want to buy. And also I know how much money I need to make to buy it. It gives me a focus. So I'm constantly looking at bigger houses in different places so that I'm always have something, I know what I'm fighting for.
What up, Roundup family? Thank you so much for watching my video. Listen, early bird registration is open right now. I'm inviting you to come to my subject to lease option workshop where you're gonna spend several days with me. I'm gonna teach you exactly how we buy real estate without paying off the seller's mortgage. We just take over their loan payments. This is a magical strategy that very few Americans know about. And it doesn't require you to put up any of your credit. You don't turn in any tax returns. There's not even a bank application. There's no lender blocking you out from building your real estate empire. So get registered up in the video description below. You're gonna see the dates and the times and all of this stuff. I look forward to hanging out with you and come network, meet other investors so you can get out there and deploy these strategies to build your real estate empire or just get a house for you and your family. Let's get back to the video. So are you flipping the real estate too? Do you flip real estate too?
That's what I said. We bought these cribs to flip.
Got it.
But once the market went up and the interest rates went up, it was like, and also you got to hold them shit for 2 years. You understand what I'm saying? So to be able to get the benefit of the tax, right? So
I didn't know you was doing real estate. Well,
why would you think that?
I didn't know. I'm thinking that's one of my questions.
It's a vertical in my octopus leg. Yes, there is. Yes. So yes, there is a portfolio of real estate underneath the dash group.
Thank goodness.
And also, yeah. So for me, once I flip one thing, that money goes to, so from this television network, it goes to the real estate next. And that's the hotel verticals right now. And all those things, like what I want to do is renaissance certain towns. I don't believe in going into a town where the real estate's high. Like we go into a place like Gary, and now we got a mayor over there, Eddie Miller.
Mention that.
It's a gold mine. If we
Indiana.
Yeah, like even a place like Virginia. See, my problem is gentrification is not hard. White people will move anywhere there's a deal. They're not scared. Black people don't. But black people have to be the landlords. You understand? So you look at Harlem, the majority of the white people that moved into those buildings are not owned by nobody black.
Harlem has changed, dog.
Everything's supposed to change, though. Virginia has changed. You know what I mean? A little bit. You know, things change. But you want to go into a town where no one's doing anything, and then you stimulate it. And for me, first you have to bring the art district to life. Because then you have to give people a reason to make it a destination. So that's what I'm doing in Winter Haven right now. I'm going to turn that whole town into like Nashville, into Austin, just by bringing. So what I've been doing is bringing artists from all over the country back to Winter Haven to perform at this little bar called Jesse's.
Where is that at?
It's in Florida. It's an hour away from Tampa and an hour away from Orlando. And it's beautiful. It's on the lake. It's a little sleepy town. And wealthy people live there that they probably don't like that I'm doing this, but they're like trying to hide from the world. And that's where my studio is. Yeah, and it's cool. You know, it's just, you know, when you're outside a lot, you want to break. Yeah, or you want to be able to like decide when you want to be around a lot of people's energy.
No doubt.
Oh, but I like, you know, I got my girl, I got a baby, and you know, it's the first child I've ever been able to raise with the woman.
I heard you say
and
that.
This shit has been like right now I'm sick because I'm not with the family. Like we usually move around as a unit.
Yeah.
And that's why even today and yesterday, I've been able to think a lot about how I want to re-architect my life to make everything perfect.
Sweet.
So in life, it's like building a house. The better you architect and plan every subtle detail, the better the house will be. So it's just like a script. The more you work on the script, the better the movie will be. So for life, you have to architect and make a blueprint for what you want it to look like after you build it. You don't let nobody else build your house. You don't let nobody else build your life. So everything has to be, and things have to be adjusted sometimes. So I know that you might buy a piece of property not knowing certain laws, or you want to find that out and you be like, oh shit, I got to put a fucking staircase over here. And now you got to move it to make it compliant. And if you don't know that until you get in the mix. Life is like that.
Happens.
All of a sudden you got to pivot. It's not the end of the world, and sometimes it's better for you. Just because it wasn't in the blueprint doesn't mean you can't re-blueprint or pivot or call the audible based on what is in front of you.
Got it. I got your quote here. As soon as I get money, this is from your book, I put it back into my companies. I never hold liquid. I would never in my life hold money. I buy things and I buy more work I flip.
I like to have cash flow, but
how does it feel though? How do you keep the emotions in check when you get rid of
It's not my emotions, it's the people around me. The people that are bothered about my money are my baby mothers and motherfuckers that just try. I find that the only people that worry about my money are the people that didn't work for it.
Wow.
And that's what it is, and that's why there's no reason to have it, because they always find some fucking tricky way to do it, to get it, if it's sitting there. So I'm like, I'm not even keeping it there, because it's a target at all times. Money sitting is a target, period. You become the bullseye in the room. Like, everyone wants to sue you.
I'm going to remember that.
Everybody, you know, our cash flow is cool, and taxes and shit. It doesn't make sense. You know how much it costs to hold money? 40% of your money. If you're not capital gains in that, but they don't teach nobody that. It costs too much money to sit and just let other people fucking hold it for interest. It costs too much money, and you become a target and all that other shit.
I'm gonna keep that in mind.
And also, you know, the ones that are experienced at it, they go know how to put shit in a trust and, you know, all that, and make it at least difficult to liquidate or have to pull out once you're not there. Pause. You know what I'm saying?
Got it. Dame, I've heard you say many times you don't trust anybody. I've heard you say this. I don't trust. You said, well, how do you build your trust with people, Dame? I've heard you say that I don't trust people. I'm guessing people that would.
It's through patterns. It's through algorithms, your behavior pattern. I can't trust a nigga overnight. You know, you have to kind of be tested to know if I could trust you, period.
So did this come with doing business? Because obviously.
I've been outside since I was 19, bro. You know that everything I did in Roc-A-Fella, and I've been bringing this to people's attention. You have children?
Yeah, that was my daughter right there.
What's your oldest?
Right there, she's 16.
Oh, 16.
This guy's driver's license.
All right, when I was 16, right, and no disrespect, but I had about 10 people working for me. I had a car, I had gold jewelry, I was living by myself, when I was 20, you gotta remember, at 19 was when I got my first record deal. I was done with Roc-A-Fella by 35. I have 33-year-old children, and they're still my children. I'm like, I can't even believe the thing. All that stuff you saw me doing was in my 20s. You know what the 20s look like for the average kid? They still kids at 20.
Yeah.
I'm running a $500,000 first generation, nothing handed to me empire with verticals in my 20s. And people were like, yo, I was acting crazy. I'm like, bro, most kids in their 20s coming from that percentage of the world are in jail shooting at each other.
Got it.
And was in that life and was smart enough and cognizant enough to say, I got to stop this and do this. I put myself in boarding school at 16 as well.
Yeah.
So at 16, my homeboy started killing, and I'm like, I'm not ready to be doing all that right now. I'm out of here. You feel me? Like, it was just part of the game. You know what I mean? Like, everyone had bodies. It was just a matter of time. And I'm like, yo, my mom died and she didn't put me in this world and work this hard for me to do a 25-year bid. So I needed to recalibrate. So I just was like, yo, I had the opportunity to have a scholarship. I went to South Kent for a year just to get my mind together, just to calibrate. And when I was walking in the door just now, I was talking to a white boy, my man Sleazy, that I went to boarding school with 30 years ago. Yeah, those connections are still there because I learned a lot about white people there. I went to white people training. When you go to boarding school, that's white people training, bro. When you go to private school, I just observed how white people act and why I'm not afraid of them. You know what I mean? I got to see white people as children and grow up to be men. And what I saw was none of them earned their money.
Let's talk about that. I wanted to ask you about this. Let's stay there. When you did the interview with NORE, he talked all about Leor Cohen. I wanted to ask you. Then you did. I saw your video say, "Why did
how you gonna put that man on
all these?" Yeah, he didn't ask him not one question
because he's white. That's why.
I'm not following you.
It's just the program that we just based on patterns, and they've made us figure out how to turn on each other instead of them. Because we think they're the plugs. And that was the exact reason why he told me, yo, we were doing a deal. Did you do the deal? No. So a deal's gonna let you make you, because he
was doing a deal with Leor at that time.
Yeah, but he didn't do it. So as I said, you're gonna do a deal with the devil, and then you got the devil on the hot seat.
He was right there.
Twice.
I saw your video
we had a whole meeting about it. I have it on tape. I bodied him again. So you remember when we did that interview and he ended up too drunk on his own show, like they had to throw the white towel in for him? He came to my house. I got it on tape, and he tried to drink again, and just for us to talk about this. Because I'm like, yo, you keep doing this bullshit, bro. And because he did some other shit like that was crazy, and I have that on tape.
I don't. Yeah.
But either way,
I want to know I never heard your rebuttal. Like,
what do you mean?
Other than the fact that it's a white dude, is that the only reason that?
What other reason could it be?
I'm asking you. You're the.
It wasn't me. Ask NORE. I'm like, yo, I asked NORE, like, why, bro? Like, why are you asking me everything under the sun? Get niggas drunk, right? And then try to get them to fucking talk too much, which happens a lot. But when they get on there, you don't even make them drink. Out of respect. They not even the white people on there don't be drinking. Yeah, I know. I'm like, why you be giving everyone a pass, nigga? You was trying to make me drink all pause, kind of Ciroc. Remember, I was like, I'm drinking my own shit. I ain't drinking that. Stuff. And then he ended up trying to take his shirt off and drunk. But he came back to my house with his girl and got too drunk. I had to put him in the fucking, I'm like, yo, bodied him again.
Well, I saw your video. You're like, this dude, I saw him
and he didn't address it. He didn't say a word. He hasn't gone back on his radio. Like, somebody should, when they said, yo, why you don't ever say nothing about when Damon asks about you? Yeah. But you will keep asking questions about Dame. But when Dame says you, no one asks him, but why Dame says that you blah, 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 don't ask Leor these questions. Why don't that come? I don't know.
Dame, I was so waiting for him to say something.
I am too.
All right. So
every time I do an interview and bring up a name, the purpose is to hear their rebuttal. And I never hear the rebuttal.
Me neither.
So to me, I think when I got on Ray Daniels' show and said all that shit, how I felt about Steve Stout, You know, that's why his dumb ass got on the Shannon Sharp show and said all that stupid shit that has nothing to do with him. But I'll deal with that later.
Yeah, we'll deal with that one later.
But I will, though.
Real estate, I got that. Dame, I saw you in an interview. You came to town a few months back. You asked anybody in the audience to raise their hands if they own any manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know, where did that come from and what does all that mean?
It means, do any black people own factories? And that's where the real money is. So if you look at LVMH's business model, they acquire market share just so their factories are stimulated. So they teach us to have brands. Nah, that's cool. Have the factories that make the clothes for the brands. And because we're black, so like 15 to 25% of all manufacturing from anyone has to be done by a black manufacturer.
Losing your mom at a young age, Dame. I wanted to ask you, I've heard you say that was kind of your energy or motivation to move forward with being a boss.
It was my ultimate test.
Ultimate test. Lost your mom.
And now I knew how I would act. Because some people say, I don't know what I would do if that happened. And it happened, and I know what I did. I got strong.
So I want to ask you, for the average or for the entrepreneur that's opening their business or they're trying to maintain their business,
when somebody dies, you still got to go to work.
But if they don't have that, I
don't even really like, you know what I mean? I hate that, even bringing that energy, but you just have to work wounded.
But I mean, you had that was a tragedy.
Yeah.
But we're just for the average entrepreneur, they may not have that big tragedy. How do they, can you just talk about what other motivations?
It's just boss energy. As a child, I just was like, now I got to be a man, and I was clear. And I wasn't on that why me shit.
What do you mean, why me? Oh,
like, people be like, why
victim.
me? Like, because even at that age, I kind of understood that life is full of tragedies that you can't control, And I think, because I thought I was dying when I was diagnosed with diabetes.
I read that.
The months before I went to the doctor, I thought I had, AIDS. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's back when like Magic had first caught it. I just started, messing with girls and all that. Mm-hmm. So I thought I was over. And I don't think, unless you really thought you were gonna die for a month, you don't know how that feels. You know what I mean? So
yeah, not that long.
Like a whole month, I was like, I was scared to go to the doctor. I'm like, but I lost 40 pounds and all that.
Oh wow!
And during that month, in my brain, I was like, yo, if I could get through this, man, if I could, I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna live life. If I could just get my energy back. And then when they told me it was diabetes, I was like, yes. Give me that needle, pause right now, and poop, and I felt better. And it was like, at that point, I became a monster because I was so scared of not living life that I was like, I got to do everything, because at any moment, I might not be able to do that, or something could happen and that's why health is so important, because I know how much when I feel bad, I would do anything to feel good.
Got it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like if I give up all the money in the world not to have to feel this way. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it was like, damn, all I got to do is take a needle twice a day.
Wow.
We could do that all day. So at that point, anything that had happened, I was just like, when you lose the person you love the most, you become fearless, because now if you die, you know you're going to be with that person. So I'm like, yo, I'm not scared of nothing, because I almost want to get there. So I started putting my finger in a pause in a gun. Like if somebody put go ahead, I did. You know what I mean? It was one of those kind of things.
That's deep, man.
So and then imagine then losing your girl.
That's right. It both happened to you.
Yeah. So basically, my motivation now is my children. Just so they don't feel you know what I mean? But other than that, it's like, man, I'm living, if I'm gonna be here in this vibration, I'm gonna tear it down.
So do entrepreneurs need to go through that?
Sometimes,
get that emotion?
If you're smart enough to look at someone else and learn from it, to get that motivation, then you don't have to feel the pain to get strong. But pain is really what teaches you. And if you read certain books, they'll tell you, like, when you reincarnate, you get to pick your life. The more you go through, the more you evolve. You get to pick how much you really want to learn and how fast you want to learn it. But yeah, with my children, I try to teach them without them having to go through pain. But what I find is because they've never been through any real pain, things that aren't so painful to me affect them like it was real bad. And I'm like, that's not bad. But you have to be able to figure out how to make it where they don't have to feel the pain or appreciate how good it is to be able to cry over something like that. You know, like when you can cry over bullshit, that means you haven't been through nothing. It means that you've been spared. But if you still react like it is something, you still feel just as much pain.
I see.
It's like, to me, I see people feel pain that they don't have to feel. And I'm like, you don't have to feel that for that.
That's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal, and it's gonna be all right. But some people act like in those moments, it's no matter what, it's not gonna be all right. Now, if let's say it is all right, now you had to feel as if it wasn't for no reason.
Forward. Got it. Dame, I gotta ask you about Americanu. I want to get down. What can I do first? But tell me about the platform and everything it encompasses.
So as I was saying, you know, from creative control, the Dame Dash Studios, the thing about the subscriptions and learning how to make it free and getting with the ad tech. Big shout out to Prophecy, the CEO. Yeah, I have a network. I was able to build Americanu with the ad tech, make it free, and now, you know, we have about 50,000 downloads in a couple of months. Haven't just to see. So I don't really consider it launched because I haven't, you know, put any money toward growth into it, and I haven't really put any of the new stuff. But we broadcast live. We have children's programming. We have we have programming for therapy, Healing is Gangster. We have programming for education, OSG, which is curated and actually made by principals. We have Billy Carson, so we get to talk about the Anunnakis and those things. You know, we have the gangster stuff, so we have, but getting to learn from, we have OG stories and
I
Game
didn't see
After
any real
Dark.
estate shows on that day.
You're right. So we could definitely talk about that. And really what I want to make is, because I think that when I come in here and I see you have all these cameras and all this expensive equipment, that you're overqualified just to be shooting interviews. I think you should be using all of this stuff to be doing scripted, because it'll give you residual income. So the thing about doing a daily show is that's it. You gotta fucking do it every day, or or once a week, and people watch it and I don't know if they come back to it so much because you got to keep making more.
Yeah.
But when you make something scripted, it lives forever. So you'll get a check for something you did 20 years ago while you laying by the pool and be like, oh, here, take that.
Got it.
So if you have all of this stuff and you have these are like sets, I look at these, like when I look at a building, I'm like, oh, these are sets.
Okay.
So every room is this place you could do another scene.
Wow.
A scene doesn't have to be more than 5 minutes in a 22-minute show or anything, right? So 22 minutes is 4 scenes. if you're doing 6 scenes or 5 minutes in each room and you need 60 minutes, what is that? It's
5
like,
times 16. Whatever.
Yeah. So it's 1, 2, 3. You have all these, and then you have the outdoor. I wouldn't have to leave the house. You got 3 camp, 1, 2, 3.
I didn't show you to wire it up. There were cameras on the wall too. This is one of my podcast room right here.
Yeah, but why? One thing which is an oxymoron is to call something with cameras a podcast, because a podcast is an audio experience. But you're giving a visual, so why not call it a TV show?
That's why you're here to help me grow, brother. That's exactly why I'm talking to you.
Just logically.
I just think podcast is like the newest.
No, that everyone can do. So why would you want to stand in a crowded block? Everyone does podcasts. But a podcast is an auditory experience. A television show is visual. And it seems like you're focused on the visual as well as the auditory. So yeah, the auditory part of it could be called a podcast, which is what I do. But I call, it's a talk show. Why isn't it a talk show?
It will be.
But why? What's the difference between a talk show and what you're doing right now?
Nothing.
So why not call it that?
Thank you.
Yeah. Like it's like calling something workforce housing or calling something low-income housing.
Got it.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I'm taking notes, brother. I'm taking notes. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Americanu, we done? All right.
That's why I was saying, if Netflix wants it, now it's a TV show, right?
Yeah, I need to, Thank you.
And for you spending a lot of money for shit that, for a podcast, you ain't got to do none of that. But if you're doing all, sound and all that, and you're doing, because you know, that's really, if you're doing that detail, go to AI, ChatGPT, type in every room that you have, every character you want, and say, give me either a comedy, a drama, and it'll do it right for you.
Wow.
And
Oh, sorry. Can you spell out Americanu for me?
America, you know, I spell America, and then new, another word, N-U. So America, if you can't spell America, you shouldn't be on the network. But America, space, N-U. You know what I'm saying? Period. You know what I'm saying? And it's free. Just check it out. Let me know if I'm capping. Check out the live event part where we broadcast live. And we'll be having, you know, the fast channel where it plays 24 hours at times like a real network, because it is
Different
a real
time.
network.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so I definitely do want a real estate vertical. And I challenge you to turn this into a TV show with scripted.
All right.
And I'll put that 100% on the network.
Gotcha.
And I bet that'll be the best thing you ever did.
I'm sure.
Because what happens
The
when you do a
Oracle.
movie or a TV show is you make a lot of people's dreams come true.
What you mean?
That's your daughter right there, right? Mm-hmm. What's your dream?
My dream?
And not that kids have to eat, and a selfish dream. It involves you making enough money to buy him a house and never have to listen to him ever again.
What?
Once you pay your own bills, you don't have to
You
listen.
gotta listen to Dad no more.
After you pay your own bills, you don't have to listen.
You're right.
That becomes respect at that point. But once I was paying my own bills, I was like, man, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? My pops said, man, let me tell me nothing, man. Buy me my car that I just bought myself. Oh, you got gold record. So what's your dream?
The way to get to it.
No, what is the dream?
What is the dream?
Yeah. If you don't know it yet, you need to identify it. And then that's what you make your profession. Because then it will never feel like work. But if you don't have a dream to fight for, you're going to be depressed.
But damn, I've asked her, what does she want to do with herself?
No, her dream. What's your love? No. What do you love to do for free?
Oh, dream. Okay.
What I love to do. I like to talk
So then why don't you have a talk show?
because when the camera turns on, I feel like I have to say something that's worth listening to.
And you don't think you say something that's worth listening to?
Oh, with my friends. Yeah.
So then why don't you do it with your friends?
Wow.
I thought about starting a
Let me just tell you something, right? Things that make you uncomfortable can't stop you. Those are the things that make you better.
Wow.
So what's stopping you is just saying you're uncomfortable in front of a camera. So you got these cameras here, practice. But make yourself uncomfortable to be great. So once you identify someone's love language, then you know how to speak to them.
Talking.
So you don't ask them what they want to do, because they want to
Okay.
make you happy there. It's what's your dream?
What's
I
your
wanna- What do you
dream?
like to do the most? If it's video games, I'd be like, all right, let's start streaming.
She likes video games. I tried to get her to stream.
I have been straight.
She has been streaming.
Yeah, but again, isn't the best thing in the world to make money off stuff you would do for free?
Yeah.
So then that's what you do. And that's what I do. I have too much fun doing too many things. So I want to do them all at a professional level. But I know I got to go to another talk, so I'll
right.
be out. So either way,
I'll see you soon.